First thing we're going to talk about is thermostats, because this is an easy way to make some changes in your energy bill and save energy. So this is just a simple fashion thermostat, and one of the easiest things you can do is turn it down 7 to 10 degrees at night and throw some extra blankets on the bed, get some flannel pajamas, and that can save up to 10% on your energy bills. Now, you do have to remember to turn it down and to turn it back up in the mornings. So there are other options available, but that's a very simple thing that you can get started with. If you have a programmable thermostat, such as this, you want to make sure that you program it properly. A lot of people have a programmable thermostat but never bother to sit down and actually program it. So make sure you program it to whatever schedule you have. Of course, our schedules are different this year than other years, but if you have one that can do different days, you can set it up for the different days and what your family schedule is like. If you don't like the idea of programming your thermostat, maybe look into investing in a smart thermostat, which will learn your routine. They have various sensors that you can put in other rooms that can tell if it's occupied or not and know when to turn on and off the heat. So that's another way that you can end up saving a lot of energy. The next place we're going to check to winterize our house is places around our windows and doors, because that can lose a lot of energy from air leaks around all those places. Now, around your windows, one thing you can do if you don't know where there's a leak, you can make sure all the fans and everything in your house are off and hold something like a candle or a lighter or a stick of incense around the edges of your window, and if you can see the smoke moving, then you can tell if there's a leak there. To fix the leaks, there's a couple of things you can do. In the energy efficiency kits from the county, one of the items in here is rope caulk. And for this, all you need to do is kind of warm it up in your hands, make sure the place along your window is clean and dry, and you just sort of push this into the gaps. This works for small gaps around some of the edges of your windows. It's also removable, so if you're in an apartment or something like that, it's not a permanent fix. If you want a more permanent fix, you can caulk your windows. There's a lot of YouTube videos that give you a lot more information than I'm going to give you here, but this is a much more permanent thing that you can do to seal any leaks around your windows. Now, if there's a leak in one of the parts that moves, then you want to replace the weather stripping. On our door here, again, the weather stripping is this black stuff, usually black, around the door. You can look around your door when the sun is shining on it, and sometimes you can see light. If you can't see light, you want to fix the weather stripping. There's a bunch of different kinds of weather stripping. Some is nail on, some slides into a plastic groove, some just sticks on. So figure out which kind you have before you head to the hardware store. We have great resources here in our own community with Ace Hardware and Metzger's. They have great people there who can give you a lot of advice. So if you have any questions about things like that, head there first before heading to Santa Fe or Espanola or ordering something online, and get your weather stripping there or any other materials you might need for winterizing your home. Another way to reduce energy loss is to make sure our fireplaces are properly winterized. Before you use your fireplace, you want to make sure it's cleaned by a professional, or if you can do it yourself, that's great, but make sure your chimney is clean, nothing is blocking it. If you're not going to use your fireplace at all, you might consider blocking it off or blocking the chimney off to prevent heat loss. You can also, if you are using your fireplace, make sure you close your damper when you're not using it, keep any doors closed, reduce any heat loss up the chimney as much as possible. Another easy fix for insulating your home is to check your outlets on the outside walls of your house. They could be leaking air. You may have noticed them feeling cold. An easy thing in the energy efficiency kit are these foam gaskets. There's some for light switches, some for outlets. All you need to do is take a screwdriver, remove the screw here on the cover plate, install the foam gasket, and then put the plate back in. And that will help insulate your outlets. Next, we're going to talk about our furnace. Now, it's important at the beginning of every cold season to check out our furnace and make sure it's working properly. You can do it yourself or you can get a professional to do it, but you want to make sure like any vents are cleaned out and things like that so that it can work as efficiently as possible. If you notice your energy bills going up, or if you notice your furnace working harder, that could be a sign that something needs to be adjusted and fixed, and that can save you money on your energy bill in the long run. If you have hot water heat and radiators, you want to make sure you remove your radiator cover and vacuum out any dust or other small items, if you have little kids, that may have accumulated in there in the summer. You also want to make sure you bleed any extra air out of the radiator. That can help your furnace work more efficiently because it's not having to pump against all that air that's in there. If you have forced air heating, you want to make sure you change your filter regularly. How often depends on if you have pets in the house or people with asthma or something like that, but change your filter regularly. To help you remember this, in the energy efficiency kits, there's a filter whistle. It's very easy to install. It's 2 pieces. You put it one on either side of your filter, click it into place, and this will give you an audio cue of when the filter has reduced efficiency and therefore you need to change it. Lighting is another place you can save money by making a few adjustments. You can replace any incandescent bulbs that burn out with some LED bulbs. Now you may be familiar with the compact fluorescents that we were using for a while, but sometimes people had problems with these sort of being noisy or they're hard to dispose of. LED bulbs tend to make less noise. They cost a little more than the incandescents, but they save money in the long run because they last a lot longer and they use a lot less energy while they're on. If you're concerned about the color, some of them are more yellow, some of them are more blue, depending on what style of light you like, and you can look on the package for the temperature spectrum of the light bulbs to figure out what works best for your home. You also want to consider any outdoor lighting you have. If you're replacing something, look for something as a sensor so it only comes on when there's a person outside rather than being on all the time. This can help wildlife. It can help with keeping our night skies darker for the astronomers. Also look for a light that's not very blue. You want a yellow tinged light for outside. Again, that helps the wildlife. It helps reducing light pollution at night. As the holidays approach, you might consider solar-powered holiday lights. With these, they come with a solar panel. You don't need to run any extension cords. It doesn't cost you any electricity, so you can set them up wherever. They usually have a timer too, so you don't even have to remember to turn them on and off.